Hello everybody, again this is Mrs. Braband. I am now moving on. This is Target 7 on your Unit 2 Target Summary Hyperdoc, which can be located in the Google Classroom. This one is going to take a little bit more room to do, so on your own paper you might want to like maybe go to a second page because we probably are going to need to use a lot of space. You also want to take a look at your notes and see if you have sitting off the side what the quadratic formula actually is. A lot of people have memorized it with a little song, and some people just have it written down. Fact of the matter is, depending on your instructor or your testing situation, you may or may not be able to use a resource. So there is a quick little song. I'll sing it to you. X equals opposite b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That kind of helps. So let's get this rearranged in the right order, so that we can find out what is our A, what is our B, and what is our C. So A is going to be in front of the x squared term. B is going to be in front of the linear term. C is the constant by itself. So you really do want to keep yourself really organized there. I'm going to write the formula out here first, and then I'll substitute the numbers in. X equals opposite B plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. Now, a lot of people do these differently. Some people just start at the left with the opposite of b and they just boom, 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 go, substitute, 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 move. I kind of like to start underneath first, because if I can do what's under the radical first, that'll tell me how many answers I'm going to have. So we need to make sure when we get done everything's exact, meaning don't give me decimals with your calculator. So if you have a wonky radical, we want to stop early. Okay? So let's start this out. I'm going to do what's underneath first. So b squared is negative 1 squared. That's 1. Minus 4 times a times c. So if I just look at that piece of the puzzle, just underneath, oops, I'm sorry, C was negative 3. Apologies. If I just look at what's underneath, negative 4 times negative 3 is positive. So we've got a 1 plus 12. That is a 13. All right, that tells me that since the underneath is a positive number, that tells me I'm going to have 2 answers. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready, and plug everything else in. The opposite of B used to be 1, so the opposite of it is positive 1, all over 2 times a, which is just 2. Now listen to me, this is our answer for our x. It looks like one fraction, but this here tells us there are 2 different answers. One is 1 plus root 13 over 2, and one is 1 minus root 13 over 2. You don't need to separate them unless they call for it. But please know you can. We don't want to grab our calculator right now and use the square root of 13, because this said to us that we need to be exact, and if I try to do a radical 13, it'll come out to a wonky decimal. So let's just take advantage of the fact that we're lucky we can stop early. Okay, next problem. Let's rearrange it again. X squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write it down. A equals 1, B equals negative 2, and C equals negative 3. Please be awful careful with your signs. I'm not going to rewrite this, okay, but I'm going to follow it. So you're going to see me go underneath the radical first, just to kind of give me a clue of how much further I have to go. So b squared, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, minus 4 times a times c. I've got another negative situation. So underneath the radical, I'll come back to the rest later. Underneath the radical, I have 4 plus 12, which is 16. There you go again. I'm going to have 2 answers, so that means to me, get going, finish the problem. All right, so go back here. The opposite of b is going to be positive 2, all over 2 times a, which is just 2. This is going to turn out really nicely, so I'm going to scooch over here a little bit. I'm going to have x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 16. Now, I do know that's 4, so that tells me to keep going. This looks a little prettier than the first one that we did. The first one was not perfect, so we just left it alone. This one is perfect, so we have to go further. So that's going to give me x equals 2 plus 4 over 2, or it's going to give me 2 minus 4 over 2. So x is equal to 6 over 2 is 3, and x is equal to 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is going to be negative 1. That's the second one. So again, it's not like it's super duper difficult to do. It's just be very thorough. You don't have to start under the radical first. I just do that because if I was to start under the radical and I immediately got a negative number, I would just stop working because that means I can't do the problem. And I like to take that break if I can. It also tells me whether I have one answer or two, okay? All right, let's rearrange this guy down here. 3x squared plus x. That's a negative one. Let's add the 1. And let's write down a, b, and c. 3 and 1 and 1. This is nice. Okay, let's see what happens here. X equals, I'm going to do that radical first just to see what happens, and I'll come back to the rest later. B squared is going to be 1 minus 4 times a times c, which is 1. So under the radical, I'm going to get the square root of 1 minus 12. Oh, no. That's the square root of negative 11. I can't do anything with a negative radical. So without me even writing the rest of it, I know this problem has no solution. So I'm just going to stop. And the reason why is you cannot have a negative radical. It doesn't work. Nothing times itself turns into a negative number. So this is me stopping early. This is exactly why I do the radical first, so that I don't have to keep working. Okay? You're going to listen to your instructors. I'm okay with you doing this work to check. Like, I know there's extra stuff here. I know there's extra stuff here. I know there's extra stuff done underneath. But as soon as I saw a negative radical, I knew I was done. All right, let's do the other one. Move it around. 2x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Let's change colors just for clarity's sake, okay? All right, here. A is 2. B is 2, C is negative 3. All right, I'm going to get ready for that radical just in case again. Do it first. B squared is 4 minus 4 times A times C. Let's make sure I got all of those right. B squared, that's 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times A times, negative 3. Okay. So that means underneath I'm going to get 4 plus something. So I'm going to keep going. Okay, so let's keep going here. Opposite of B, plus or minus, all over 2 times A. Running out of room a little bit. Let's see if I can squeeze it in. 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus something. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 24. So 4 plus 24 is 28. All over 4. Need a little bit more room. Let me scroll a little bit here. So let's just ignore this word, please. All right, so coming down below. Negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 28 all over 4. You know, I think that I can reduce that, but I haven't learned how to break up radicals yet. So I'm going to have to wait for another chapter. So let's just write the answers in 2 separate formats and be done with it. I thought I might be able to reduce, but we haven't learned our radicals yet. So negative 2 plus the square root of 28 all over 4, and negative 2 minus the square root of 28 over 4. Again, some instructors allow you to stop right here. Others want you to do 2 separate. And then once you learn how to do radicals, we'll even go a further step. That is it. This will be posted onto Google Classroom and linked into that Unit 2 Target Summary Hyperdoc. Reach out if you have questions, as always.